I'm Jack Collins, host of Ranks FC, and this is the Source Meter. It's hard not to put Mo Salah at the very, very top of this, right? So we're talking, there are sources and then there are sources. And the hottest source in the world is Mad Dog 357. It's registers 9 million on the Scoville meter. It's the hottest thing on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. This is where I've got Mo Salah. Now, Leeds have plenty of reason for their current decline, although there is some kind of things to look at in terms of not being able to adapt. But right now, teams are slicing through Leeds like a hot knife through butter, and Mo Salah is the hottest player in the Premier League, the hottest knife in that kind of way that you could possibly ask for. So I don't think there's any way that you can not put Mo Salah right at the top of this list. Leeds have conceded 11 goals in the last 2 games. They're defensively absolutely injury hit. They are COVID hit. It's a mess. And without Calvin Phillips in there, who's not sure if he's going to be getting back to fitness for this one, I just fancy that Salah and Liverpool are going to tear Leeds apart. I think this is an interesting one in that Watford are so poor away from home. So I'm going to go for not quite like as cool as a mayonnaise, but maybe like a salad cream, you know, like it's got that kind of acidic kick. That's what we're looking at here for a main size. He's, you know, a player. Wolves have kept a lot of clean sheets, so there's good levels there in this kind of mid-range. Watford are desperate away from home, so you'd fancy Wolves, as stingy as they have been defensively, to lock Watford out here, even if Emmanuel Dennis appears to be R9 reincarnated at the moment. I fancy a Wolves clean sheet here, and for that reason, I'd put Romain Saiss middle of the pack. I think he's a good pick. Similar to Saiss, really. I think it's a decent pick because Everton defensively have just been incredibly suspect. So maybe like a Peronaise, you know, like you get that little bit of Nando sauce through that mayonnaise and give it a little bit of whip. So yeah, Chris Wood for me against a makeshift Everton defense who, you know, just can't catch a break at the moment, and under Rafa Benitez just seem to be lurching from crisis to crisis. I fancy Burnley having had a rest, Chris Wood having had a little bit of time off to come in and bully this Everton defense. I reckon, yeah, a little bit of spice here. Yeah, interesting one. I mean, obviously, Cancelo isn't going to be dropped, even in a Pep rotation system. So as a Man City players go, he's pretty solid. You're picking in there. I'm going maybe Tabasco. You know, I like it. I'm a little bit spicier than the last, considering the game week he had last week against Newcastle. This is going to be a harder task. Let's make no bones about it. But you know, with he's been in the mix in terms of set pieces as well, and Leicester's fallibility at set pieces has been well documented. So I fancy him to get himself a couple more points here. I'm not quite sure it's going to be the clean sheet of last week, especially if City defend or at least get away with the things that they got away with last week. So, you know, Brendan does like this game. So I'm not 100% sure it's a clean sheet, but I fancy Cancelo to pick up some points in the offensive third. Yeah, I mean, again, Tabasco, innit? If you've got him, I think this is a hot pick. Norwich are toothless at the moment. They are running on fumes again in terms of injuries, in terms of players out. It's mostly at the other end. They've been desperately hit. The centre-backs are the main area of crisis, I think, for Norwich right now. But they can't catch a break. They're not good going forward. There's, you know, struggles to create in this side. The form that Arsenal are on right now, and this back line starting to gel into something that we really like. I think the Ramsdale is a hot pick. Yeah, cooler than most, I think. I'm pulling back down to salad cream. I think that obviously his performance of the weekend was better, and we've seen more than, you know, we have of late from Harry Kane. But there was still that kind of lack of maybe match sharpness in finishing those chances. And Crystal Palace, I think, are a tough proposition. They've already beat Tottenham this season. We're seeing this kind of centre-back rotation that mostly has Mark Gay as the centrepiece, and then Joachim Andersen came back off the bench last week. They're a good partnership when they're back. James Tompkins has deputised ably in some ways, but I think Andersen and Gay is a good partnership. I think there's something to be said here that this might be a draw. I'm not as hot on Kane as perhaps some people are looking at this fixture. Down to mayonnaise. We're going fully at the bottom. Look, Mikel Antonio is one of my favourite players, and in full flight is one of the best players to watch in the Premier League. I think one of the best all-round number 9s that we have, but he's not in flight at the moment. He is a player to change an expression, bang out of form. He just doesn't seem to be running for him now, whether that's overload, whether that's, just a bit too much of a workload at the moment, then perhaps it is. But I like having him around, and I'll be honest, he's been in my team for ages, and you struggle to take him out if you already, if you have him in there, because that the week you take him out is the week that it's all going to come crashing down and he'll bang another hat trick. But right now I don't like it. Right now I'm struggling. He's the player that I've been benching a lot recently, because I do think that there will come a time. But at the moment, I'm just going with that kind of cold, because it's just not falling for Michail Antonio right now. Yeah, back up again. I'm going to Basco. This Chelsea defense is leaking. Now, there is talk that N'Golo Kante is going to be back. There is talk that Mateo Kovacic is going to be back. They're going to be rushed back into this side. I think Thomas Tuchel feels like he needs emergency plasters at the moment to get things across the line, because this whole thing was based on a watertight defense. Chelsea have never been, or have rarely been, should we say, not never, a team that really blows sides away with lots and lots of goals. They've been based on keeping clean sheets and scoring once or twice at the other end, and the other team basically not being able to get anywhere near it. Since that clean sheets have fallen away, Chelsea's form in December has fallen away, and they've conceded more goals in December than they have in the rest of this season combined, which I think is interesting. Watkins and Villa feel like they're very much on the up. I fancy an upset here at Villa Park, and I fancy Watkins to be one of the main, culprits of such an upset. I like Tariq Lamptey's return to this side and seeming return to form. Now, Brighton are draw experts, right? So it feels wrong to put him right at the top end of this scale. So I'm going to salad cream. That's why I'm going to stick him in here, sort of midway up the heat meter, because there is this sense that whilst Brighton are good and whilst Lamptey does create, they miss a lot of chances. They don't take the amount of chances he is creating. This is a grudge match between Brentford and Brighton. People forget this, I think, sometimes. Their two chairmen were once part of the same company, split off from each other. So this is a game that they both desperately want to win. They are big rivals in both business and now the footballing landscape. So it's a really interesting one. I like Lamptey. I like his performances, but I'm not 100% convinced they're going to translate into points. Up to Tabasco again. Now, Bruno has to find some form. The truth of the matter is that he hasn't performed this season to the level that we know he's capable of. Now, there are, mitigating factors. He has created quite a lot, and those chances have not necessarily been finished in the same way. And especially in the Champions League, he seems to have been able to harness that creative energy, less so in the Premier League. And I think that of late, we're starting to see United turn again into a side that you think are going to win every week. Under Rangnick, obviously, we kind of fell away from that towards the end of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. I think this could be the game that Bruno starts to kind of set that renaissance in motion. I fancy him to have a bit of a big game against Newcastle. So I'm going to go with, Tabasco, pretty high up the old chili meter. They're my takes for this game week. Don't forget to press that subscribe button below. Good luck.